Alright, so I did a couple videos that gave some considerations on what you need to think about before you buy a gun or if you just bought a gun. And I want to get into like the nuts and bolts of shooting. But before I do that, we need to cover the 4 rules of firearm safety. And these rules are non-negotiable. So if you follow these 4 rules and there's an accident, you're probably going to be alright. Alright? Um, if you break one of these rules, you may be okay. You break 2 of these rules, someone's going to the hospital or they're dead. So, first rule is treat all guns as loaded. At every gun show you go to, they always have like this place where you check in your firearm, and they have to visually inspect that it's unloaded, and everyone always walks up, oh yeah, it's unloaded, rack, there goes the fucking round. So that bucket's usually full by the end of the day, and I've had that happen to me in real life. So I've had someone, an acquaintance, pull out a nice 1911 and to show it off and hand it to someone, and they're like flagging people and they got their finger on their trigger, and I'm like, hey, you should clear that weapon. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it, it's unloaded, it's unloaded. So it gets around to me, I friggin' drop the mag, and think, there goes the round. So, and this was a gun that was pointed at me multiple times. This, by the way, is empty. Proper way to unload one of these for you guys that are completely brand new: magazine first, because it is the feeding device, and then clear the chamber. If you do it the other way around, you're just throwing another round into the chamber. So I don't know how many times I've seen someone rack it and then drop the magazine and then hand it to me like that's fine. If it's an empty magazine, it should lock itself back like this if the gun's functioning properly. So so treat all guns as loaded. If you just automatically assume it's loaded, then you'll be alright. Always get into the habit of checking any weapon that someone hands you, no matter what it is. You should check it and make sure it's unloaded. I just get in the habit, of doing it, periodically, as I'm just standing here like, some magic elves came and fucking loaded the gun while it was in my hand. Get in that habit. That is a good habit to have. That is not being paranoid. That is, like I said, I've had someone hand me a loaded gun and tell me it was unloaded. So, the other thing is, don't ever point the muzzle at anything you're not willing to destroy. Don't flag shit. Don't flag yourself. Don't flag other people. Don't flag, whatever. It's a hard one to live by, I know, but you need to be aware of where this muzzle is. I remember being downrange and cleaning my SIG and putting it back together, and all I did was do this. Oh, I'm going to take this out. All I did was, and I got my ass ripped apart by a dude that happened to be sitting across a 30-foot room over there, and I flagged him unintentionally, and I've never forgot that lesson. And I had no ammo around me. I had just cleaned it and snapped it back together, but it's no excuse. So don't do it. Be cognizant of where this is. This should not be doing this crap. It's a computer screen, so all you people that are like, oh, you're flagging the computer, I don't get that. But anyways, so be cognizant of where this is. This should never be, you should not be talking to someone doing this crap. You shouldn't be in the store pointed like this, and you're looking right here, but there's a dude 15 feet away, and you're pointed right at him. That's a freaking no-go. Next one, always be sure of your target and everything that surrounds it. There's no excuse for saying, well, I didn't see that guy back there. Alright? And there's no excuse for saying, oh, well, I thought it was him. How many times have you seen it? I don't want to just pick on cops, but this happens all the time. So, how many times have you heard, that law enforcement thought they had a gun or thought that was the suspect? It just happened with the Christopher Dorner thing where they shot up the Asian ladies because they had the same kind of truck. They should have been identifying their target and everything around it, and they just opened fire. So, lesson learned. The fourth rule, the most important rule, is keep your frickin' finger off the trigger. The way I tell people, and I, every person that I teach to shoot, is you make a gun to pick up a gun. When you were a kid, you went around like this with cops and robbers going bang, bang, bang. Look, you make that same gun to pick up a gun. Here's the gun. I have it like this. Pick it up like this. My finger always stays straight. It always stays outside that trigger well. That is the biggest way to tell someone's a novice or has never handled a gun in their life, is to find them with their finger creeping in that trigger and they're holding it like this. Not only that, I remember downrange standing there and I'm talking to someone who's got the gun hanging on just hanging, dangling here with his finger on the trigger, and he's talking to me and I'm probably, this far away, and all of a sudden, BAM! And it frickin', seriously, that round hit the dirt and it shocked the hell out of everyone, including him. That was a negligent discharge. There's no excuse for it. He had cleared the magazine out and not cleared the chamber. Listen, some monsters of guys came walking over. The first one took the gun out of his hand and walked away. The second one hip tossed this dude further than I could ever imagine anyone going. And he hit the ground, knocked the wind out of him, frickin', and they laid into him like no one's business. And he was banned from ever coming back and shooting with us in a military unit, so that's pretty rough. Look, the dude's lucky it didn't end his career. Sometimes they'll just kick you out and send you to somewhere else, saying, hey, this guy had a negligent discharge, we don't want him, you take him. No one's going to want you. Don't do it. Keep your finger off the trigger. There's no friggin' excuse. Make a gun to pick up a gun. Make a gun to pick up a gun. The dude was more scared than anything else, but it doesn't matter because literally he was blacklisted. So, what are the rules? Treat every gun as loaded. You should clear every gun that's ever handed to you. You should make sure that weapon's clear yourself. Never sweep anything. Just act like there's a laser beam coming out of the end of this muzzle and it cuts down whatever it comes across. Never sweep anybody. And if you're treating it like it's loaded and you never sweep anyone, no accident's going to happen. Be sure of your target and everything around it. If you're only pointing the gun at your target and your finger should never be on the trigger till you're on your target, then you're good to go. There's another thing. So you could break any one of these rules and we'll probably still kick you out and you're never going to go shooting with me again. But if you break two of these rules, someone's going to the freaking hospital. So this is no joking matter. These are the 4 rules everyone goes by. Every gun is always loaded. Never let your muzzle sweep anything. Be sure your frickin' target. Keep your finger off the trigger. And look, man, this is the most important rule right here. If you never ever touch that trigger unless you're on target, you're good to go. No accidents. So, all right, that's it. Firearm safety. I'm out.